Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to my channel on a Saturday night. A bit different tonight. I don't have any earworms, at least not at the moment. So bear with me on that one. So I'll just read some of the names out of people who are in. You all know you're here anyway. So we've got Andy, we've got Alex, we've got Norman, Colin, Fred, Rob from Klingspor. I'm going down. Andy, the Valley Woodturner. Douglas is in. Hi, Douglas. Hope your ankle's, well, you're saying it's not too good. I don't suppose it's going to get better in any time soon. Barry's in. Oh, that's a new name. Bevels are overrated. Live on the edge. Good evening and welcome. James Crawford's in. Scott's in. Scott, do you want to come in and earworm? Let me know and I'll send you a link. Clint. I think that's about us for the moment. Right, so what I was going to do tonight was do a piece of... Oh, Paul Finley's just come in as well. I was going to do a piece of monkey puzzle, but the weather's not been great the past couple of days, and I really couldn't be bothered getting the chainsaw out. I have got a couple of pieces ready for Wednesday night, where I'm going to do a box. Right, hang on, I'm just going to send Scott a link. Bear with me a minute. That's that done. That's that link sent. Thanks for that, Scott. Much appreciated. Right, where was up to? Andy with your woodsheds in. Yes, so I've got actually a couple of pieces ready to go for Wednesday night for the box with the finial. Now I've got the finial sorted. I'm going to turn the finial out of a bit of, I think it's either red gum burr or mallee burr, one of the two. I was originally going to do a piece of burr elm for the box, but as you can see, it's got a lot of worm in this. I don't know if I want to do that or not, or I could do a piece of spalted beech. So you can have a think about that over the next few days and let me know what you reckon on Wednesday as to which one I should turn. If Jennifer comes in a bit later on, I will let her know as well. Tez Johnson's in. Who else has come in? Alan Gibb. Evening, Alan. Oh, Mike's in from Dancers. Bonnie's in. Oh, Bonnie's baking a birthday cake. Very nice, Bonnie. Very nice. Dan's in. Good evening, Dan. Do you want to come in the earworm or are you busy?
Hello, mate.
There's Scott. Evening, Scott.
Evening.
So Scott's in. Scott's going to help me out with a chat. I will stick Scott in the background. So eventually, what I've come up for tonight is a piece of walnut, which is, let's just change camera. Right, it's only about 9 inches diameter by about 2 inches deep, so it'll not take long, I wouldn't think. Right, I'm just going to send Dan a link.
Can you hear me all right, Wayne?
I can hear you fine, absolutely fine, mate, no bother.
I've not earwormed from the study before, so it's a new one.
Yeah, but you chat from there, don't you?
I do. How is everyone this evening? This feels weird. I haven't been on the YouTubes for a long time.
Oh, thank you, Bonnie. Very much appreciated. The link, I'll come back on the main camera. The link at the top of the chat, as usual, is my Linktree link. So in there, you can buy me a coffee. You can go to my merch store and see if there's any merch that you want. One thing I will mention tonight is that we are only around about, I think it's about 6 weeks away now from the Makers Auction. That's going to be held on Friday, the 27th of October, I believe. Steve did a short video last night on some of the pieces that have already been donated. I think there's 12 pieces already donated, and there's a few pieces in for raffle as well. I know Rob's got something in for the raffle. He's got some abrasives in for the raffle. But there's some very, very nice pieces going up for auction. So keep an eye out for that. That's on Steve SK Crafts channel. He usually does a Sunday lunchtime live and he does a Friday evening live. And that Friday evening, the 27th, is going to be the Makers Auction, where this year money is being raised for the British Heart Foundation. So that's what's happening there.
Fantastic cause.
I have sent Dan a link, so he might pop in at some point. I know he has been a bit busy with stuff just recently. Right, I'll get on and start doing some turning, and then I'll just adjust that camera a little bit. That's better. Right then. So I've only just prepared this bit, and I didn't get it exactly in the centre. As you can see, it's a wee bit off, but we'll see how it goes.
So bevels are overrated. Like live on the edge is actually Susie, the Swiss woodturner.
Oh, is it? Oh, hi, Susie.
I've just gone to subscribe, and it's like, oh, you're already subscribed. So, right. Did you go for all the names, Wayne, or did you want me to do that?
I got quite a few of them. I got down to Paul Finley. I got down to. I think Bonnie. I certainly got down to.
Let's have a quick run through the participants.
Dan's just trying to get his earpods working.
So Alan Gibb, Andy the Valley Woodturner, Barry Chitty, Susie the Swiss Woodturner, Bonnie, Clinton Wood Dancers, Dancers with Art Box, Door 60, Douglas Mugham, Fred Gilliver, Rob at Klingsborough, Paul Finley, Dan at Taylor's, Tez Johnson, some fat bloke in Horsham that tumbles, oh, that'd be me, Wyvie Woodshed, and Wurzel the Wood Butcher. So that just was the participants list.
Excellent.
Catch up, Wayne.
Right. That's.
I remembered that.
That's better.
Chris Neelan's in.
Better now. Oh, I was going to change the tool rest there.
She says it's just a joke from a skew lesson with Mark the other day.
Oh, right. I think Mark's over at Kim's tonight. Oh. It's done. Oh, it doesn't seem to be on camera, but we'll leave him up there. And I'll just put that back flat across the bottom just to clean the bottom of this off.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Dan.
Yeah, that was fun. I've invested in some new earbuds, earpods, whatever you want to call them. I'm trying to make them work.
So Susie says she kept forgetting to ride the bevel and went straight for the cut. So Mark had to remind me that the bevel. That's when I said bevels are overrated. You find if you don't ride the bevel with a skew, it bites. How are you, Dan?
I'm good. No, I'm good, thank you. I'm just trying to get to the point where I can see the chat and also the video. I'm on my phone tonight, so I'm juggling a little bit.
Oh, I don't know if I've told anybody. I usually have my videos and lives monetized for ad revenue, and believe it or not, Wednesday nights they wouldn't monetize it. I can't understand why.
I haven't actually gone back to watch it yet, Wayne. But after our chat last night, and then Wurzel said, "Well, at least you're not playing with your ring tonight, Wayne." Lucy's Bundy Row is in. And Rob says he'll be right back. He's just got to make some cheese on toast.
There we go. I wonder if that's any better on overhead.
And Fred said he used his EasyWood tools this week for the first time.
Excellent.
All he can say is wow.
So sorry, Wayne, I missed the start of this. What are you aiming for today?
I'm just turning a very simple bowl tonight, Dan. I was going to do a nice piece of monkey puzzle, but the weather has been a bit inclement the past couple of days, and I couldn't be bothered going out in the rain with my chainsaw to get it cut down to size. And next Wednesday, Jennifer, I don't know if Jennifer's in yet, but Jennifer has been asking me for ages to do a box with a finial. So I did show this earlier, but I'll show you as well. The choice is going to be either a piece of spalted beech for the box part, or a piece of burr elm for the box part. But this is, like I said to everybody, this is very, very wormy, so I don't know how it'll turn out. But it's got some really nice burr in it. And the finial is going to be, this is either a piece of red gum burr or a piece of mallee burr. I'm not too sure. I've had this for absolutely years, and I can't remember what. This is the last piece of a very big block that I used to have.
I found that red gum has more of a pinky note to it as opposed to the red.
Yeah,
more
more salmony coloured.
I'm sure you'll find out once you start turning it.
So at the moment, I'm just getting a shape on the bottom of this. I think that'll do. I'll come across now and sort out the mortise. So how's all the changes at the shop going, Dan?
It's going well. The classroom's really started to take off now, which is good.
Excellent.
We've got to a point now where we're publishing dates of actual days as opposed to what we used to do is we used to kind of say you can book and then ring us and we'll book you into a date of your choice. What we'll start doing now is we start putting dates on there and it's going really well. So we had some fun on Thursday. We had a guy who the best thing about teaching people is when they know what they want to learn, especially as beginners. And he wanted to make a lightsaber and a holy grail from Indiana Jones. So that was a fun one.
Excellent. Oh, I saw the pictures of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's giving me ideas now because I'm starting to think that maybe Star Wars is a niche that could be tapped. Because I'd never really thought of it up until then. I mean, he was so into it. He was so very good as well for his first time.
I thought your sheep you put up today looked like Shaun the Sheep, mate.
I know, and it was more luck than good management. I think those sheep were one of Gary Lowe's side projects. That when he ever does a demo, if he runs out of time, if he finishes his project early, and he'll generally do a little sheep. And he was at the shop doing lessons about 6 weeks or a week. He did a lesson at our shop just before he went over to the Chestnut weekend. and he was with us on the Wednesday, and then we went over on the Thursday. And that's one of his projects. So those little sheep, the two at either side, are actually his that he left in the shop. So I figured it needed a baby. So it's a fun little project actually, especially for
I might have to have a
craft
go.
fairs and things like that. They're really, really simple.
I haven't switched my lathe on for 2 months, if that.
Yeah, I've been a little bit busy.
Proud of, is it? Yeah.
I've got a Coronet Herald in there now, just staring at me.
Yeah, no, it's. I've got to say that since we've fitted out the classroom, and it's a dedicated space, we're doing far more turning.
Mark Stroughton's in.
Hey, Mark. Right, I'm just going to give my finish and gouge a quick sharpen. Bear with me just a minute or two.
She was listening whilst putting a car door back together.
Evening, Shug.
So I don't know what he's done
Hey,
to his car
Shug.
door.
Who was that? Sorry, Dan?
Shug said he's currently putting his car door back together, or a car door back together.
Oh, yeah, he messaged me earlier on saying he's having to work late.
At least
Barry Chitty's just joined.
Hey, Barry.
The question is it his car door or someone else's?
I'm not too sure. Right, just do a quick finish and cut on this now.
And Lewis the Klondike Craftsman's in.
Hey, Lewis.
I noticed this week there's a lot of people now talking about Harrogate Show.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Very much a topic of conversation now.
Yeah.
Not long now, is it?
No, it's not long. Loads and loads and loads of people going. Quite a lot of people are all staying at the same hotel as well.
Was that the Premier Inn one?
The Premier, yeah, Premier Inn South. There's a hell of a lot of people staying there.
Is that the one? That's the one next to the Italian, isn't it? Is that where you stopped last time?
Yeah, it's the one. It's only about a mile or so away from the venue.
Yeah.
Basically, you come out of the venue onto the main road, turn left, and then turn left again at the next set of lights, and it's straight up that road for about a mile, just over.
Yeah, it's always the place that kind of people seem to gravitate to. We always go to the Italian on the Friday night there.
All right.
I've not actually booked anywhere yet for this year. I need to get that sorted.
Good luck.
And we always go for Airbnb.
Yeah.
So
speaking to Glyn the other week, and he was buying ketchup. Or is that drilling?
And as usual, tonight's abrasives are brought to you by Klingspor.
I don't know whether that was drilly or whether that was you breathing really heavily, but that was picking up the wind there big time, mate.
Right, okay, well, my mic is down, so it maybe was drilly.
Maybe drilly. Yeah, I was speaking to Glyn the other week, and he was saying that he's tried booking and everywhere's busy. I've got a room
Right.
booked at Premier Inn Stealth, but I'm going to be cancelling that.
Right.
'Cause it looks like now I can only do the Saturday.
So what,
So-
are you going to travel? You're just traveling it for the day then, eh?
Yeah, so I've been offered a place to stay in Sheffield
Right.
on the Friday night, so I'll stay up on the Friday night, travel up with them on the Saturday. And then, I don't know, I'll see how I feel. I'd like to do both days, but I've got a placement the week before, and then in uni the week after, so like I've only really got those 2 days off.
Yeah. Lucy Bundy Rose, is Harrogate big enough that you need 2 days, or can you do it in one? It depends which day you do. If you come on the Friday is generally the busiest day. The Saturday is normally close to the same as Friday. Generally a little bit quieter, we've found.
Yeah,
and
Sunday is
then the
probably
Sunday
the
is quiet.
quietest. But the thing
Sunday normally
is,
falls on Remembrance Day as well.
yeah, and depending on what you want to buy, especially if it's wood, all the wood will go on the Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
You could do it in a day. We did it in a day last year, but
I've done it.
Yeah.
I have done it in a day in the past.
it's nice having the social side of things as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say that in the last, I remember going to that show as a kid. I'm 37, so I remember going to that show at sort of in my early 20s, and it was literally a walk around and look. It wasn't there was demos, but it wasn't the social that it's turned into now. I think that now Harrogate is actually it's a meeting point, but a lot to do with YouTube and Instagram. And it's definitely evolved into a bit of a social weekend as opposed to just a trade show. I mean, when we go, we're busy every night with different sort of events, be it meeting up with some of the RPT guys or going out with some of the reps. And there's always groups meeting up all over the place. I mean, I know you have a good meetup, don't you? When you've done a meetup with a few of them for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, last year, the Friday night, we had the meetup with the Woodturning 360 Club.
Right, yeah.
Which was good. That was down in the Hilton, down in the town. That was. I don't know what there'll be another meetup, 360 meetup this year, but I'm not very sure what's happening because I'm going to be on Rob's stand a fair bit of the time, so I don't know what we're going to be doing on the night time. Certainly on
Well, I don't
Friday.
think so. I'll be treating you to beers and food, won't they?
God, I hope so.
Well, I mean,
Rob's probably about to fall down now.
Right. Well, I'm just going to put it out there now because I know Rob will be listening. Merca take us out every year. Every year they take us out, and they've got 2 reps this year, and they've already said that because there's 2 reps, they're prepared to take us out twice because they've got 2 expenses cards. So just tell Rob that if he's not already listening.
He's in there.
Merca are very good at taking people out.
No. A quick question from Dewey Shed, Wayne.
Yeah.
He says, can you do a live with the Hope hollowing tool as they're thinking of buying it?
With the Hope with the jig, does he mean? Is it the jig you're talking about, Dewey? Because if it's the jig you're talking about, I can certainly do that for you. Yeah.
Rob's asked if he can come out with the Merca boys.
He'll come in disguise. Yes, the camera jig.
The camera jig. Yeah, no problem. Now, the only problem I have when using the camera jig is actually trying to show the camera, to show what's on the camera. I have actually tried it before on a live, and it didn't actually work very well showing the camera. And I have tried to link the camera up to show on the computer, but obviously when you hang on, I'll I'll come back onto the main camera. When you're using the camera with the Hope system, you actually draw on the screen, on the small screen. So if I transfer that onto the computer, you won't actually have the image of where you've drawn around the tool to get the thickness of the piece. That's the only thing about it. Now, I usually have the camera, the screen mounted on top of the headstock of my lathe, and I did try and have a camera on that. I've done that in the past, but it does tend to blur out and you can't see it properly. But I'll certainly give it a go and see if I can get it set up, Dewey. No bother. It'll probably be in a couple of weeks.
Rex B's joined. He says, "Thank you, Master Wayne, for doing the live videos. Truly love what you do and the great discussions."
Grand.
Who else did I see jumped in? Doug
how's
Miller's
all the
jumped
treatment?
in.
How's all the treatments going, Rex? Sorry, who else jumped in there, Scott? I missed that. Sorry.
Doug Miller and Colin Izzard.
Hiya, Doug. Colin. Got some really nice green.
Who says, do you think it's worth the money, Wayne?
To tell you the truth, when I initially bought the jig, I actually thought about buying the camera system. But after using the camera system, I actually prefer the laser, to tell you the truth.
I was going to say that. I prefer the laser. I've got the laser one.
I bought the laser one first, and I got very used to using the laser one. So I do prefer the laser. You might have to have a bit of... You might have to have a bit of finagle about when you're doing the... when you're changing the angle of the cutter, you've got to sort of redo the laser so they meet up perpendicular. But that's about the only faff about you've got with it. When you're using the camera, you don't have to do that because you can actually show where the cutter is or where the thickness is all the way around the cutter. But I do prefer using the laser.
There's a guy on Instagram. A guy called Matt Underwood. I've actually met him because he was actually one of the emerging turners that came up for the weekend. And he's got the Hope system. And if you look at his Instagram, I think it is Matt Underwood is his name. And he makes a lot of rugby ball urns for ashes.
Oh yeah,
it's very neat. And he puts a little threaded screw in the top. But he uses the Hope jig with templates. So what he has is he has basically two hollowing arms that are running parallel to each other, set exactly the same distance apart. And then he has an MDF template on the top of it that secondary where the laser would normally fit. He actually uses that to run up against an MDF template. So he effectively makes all his urns exactly the same size, and it's really clever to watch. If you're ever bored, have a look at Matt Underwood on Instagram. He's had some pretty big sort of views on some of his videos from what he's made. It's quite clever.
I'll go and have a look at that when I get in the house.
So Rex B says the treatments are kicking his butt, but 60% done. And
excellent.
What wood? It looks awesome.
Right, this is walnut, Rex. English walnut. And it's all, as you can see, this is all from the heartwood. There's no light, God, I forget the name. Sapwood. There's no light sapwood in this at all.
And there's a link in the chat to Matt Underwood for anyone that wants to kind of look.
You know, I used to hate turning walnut many, many years ago. I could never get a decent finish. I always used to get lots of tear out.
You find that there can be a lot of silica in walnut. tools.
Oh, just going a little bit more to get rid of there. What I think I'll do, I'll put a couple of beads just on the edge there, I think. Using the Easy Wood Tools beading tool, negative rake beading tool.
I want one of these.
It works absolutely brilliant on side grain as well as end grain. You don't have to waggle it from side to side, like you sometimes do with the high-speed steel cutters. You just go in very gently. Again, you should have as with all of the Easy Wood Tools, you have the tool on center height and you have the bar horizontal.
Woodworm Paul has just joined us.
Hi, Paul.
Douglas is saying, Wayne, if it's English walnut, why is there no Union Jack running through it?
Well, I know it's not American because there was no stars and stripe either.
You've got 57 in. And Brad R's in.
Hi, Brad.
And Rob said there's no Union Jacks. People that paint it are on strike.
There was a comment back up the chat about me sounding like I sound like I'm underwater. So if my mic's not working very well, I can always take these earbuds out. So let me know when I can always change them.
Sound all right, Dan?
Maybe a little bit on the quiet side.
But I am sat in my I am sat in my
sat in your hot tub, are you?
Extension, but still very empty and echoey. Yeah, no, I'm not Mark. He spends more time in the hot tub than I know what it must be like a spoon.
It just doesn't seem the right time of year to me to be sitting in a hot tub.
Rex B says, will this be another one for the auction or is it already promised?
No, this won't be one of the auction pieces. I've only put one piece in for the auction, Rex, and that was that's one of my centrifuge coloured platters using Joe Sonia's paint, the violet one I believe I used, and Emma's chameleon colours. I used them on it as well, so there's some colour shift in there as well. There's some really nice pieces going into the auction, like I said. I especially like the one from Ed Oliver. He's put in a piece, one of his hollow forms with texturing on with the eye cutter. I'm forgetting what they call it now. What the jewelers call it now.
Terry Cox is in.
No, it's gone. It's gone.
Rob has a question.
Yeah.
He says, talking of colours, I need some advice. Can I colour epoxy resin with acrylic paint?
It's a shame Jamie isn't here.
Well, acrylic. I'm only going off the fact that epoxy resin doesn't like water. So
Yeah,
if
but
acrylic is water based,
you can
I've
use colouring inks in resin though.
Yeah, and you've got the different pigments.
yeah, I've used
Yeah.
I've used spirit stains in resin before. Chestnut spirit stains I've used, and that works quite well.
And Mike Evans has joined.
The thing is that I'm not really a resin turner, so I'm really the wrong person to ask about that.
So another question, Wayne. What
Yep.
technique or incredible skill do you use that stops the tear out of walnut?
Right.
I do American walnut and always get tear out.
Okay. I've shown this before. When I'm turning the outside of the bowl, I initially start with a pull cut on the outside of the bowl, but I always do a finishing cut as a push cut, and I always use my small 1/4 inch Robert Sorby bowl gouge. That's for what I use for doing my finishing cut on the outside of the bowl. On the inside of the bowl, what you're trying to do, it's basic. If you imagine that you're turning a spindle, whenever you turn the spindle, you're actually going from the high spot of the spindle down towards the center. That way what you're doing is actually pushing the grain down with the bevel so you don't get any tear out. If you were to come back up the hill, if you like, what you're doing there is going against the end grain and you're actually tearing out the end grain. I used to have a bunch of straws in here, but I don't know where the hell they've gone to show that. I've got to...
So
Right, I'll
while
just
you're
change
looking for
camera.
them, Wayne,
Yeah.
Chris at Bailey Woodworks is in. Jennifer
Right,
has
here-
said that she's used a small amount of acrylic paint in it,
All right, okay.
in resin. So
Right, if you imagine the ridges on this roller is the grain in the wood. So when you're doing spindles, the grain is running that way. So you go from like the high point here down towards the center. So you're actually flattening the grain down. If you were to go from the center back up towards the outside, you're going into the end grain and you're going to get tear out. Now, if I turn that round, the grain on a bowl is running across the way. Okay, so what you're actually trying to do when you're doing the inside of the bowl is that you are going down. It might look like you're hitting into the end grain here because you do get tear out when you stop the cut like I have there. But what you're actually doing is flattening the grain down behind it. That's what you're actually doing. And I find it when I do a cut, what I try to do is start above center. So when I actually get down to the center, I'm finishing right on the center. So you're doing an arc when you're actually doing the cut. Now I'll see if I can show that just on the smaller bit here that I haven't cleaned out. So I'm starting above center, getting the cut started, and then coming down. So I'm actually finishing the cut right on the center point, like that. And that way, there's no tear out whatsoever on that part there. And basically you just keep on doing that. Now what can happen, especially if you're doing a deep bowl and you use a long swept back grind like this, what can happen when you're doing a deep bowl is that you're going down, and once you start going across the bottom, the heel of the tool, sorry, that part there, the heel, of the tool starts rubbing on the bottom. So a lot of people, when they're doing fairly deep bowls, to finish off the bottom, they will use one of these, which is a bowl gouge. Again, this is a Robert Sorby. This is a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, but this has got what's called either a traditional or an English grind on it. And when you're actually going across the bottom with this, the heel doesn't catch, so you get a clean cut. I did put a link in. I'm on my computer in the workshop, so I haven't got all the documents on here that I've got in the house, but I have got a link, and I'll see if I can get it put in. In fact, when I finish the bowl, I know I sent it to Ruby Claire, so I'll go back into her messages and see if I can find it and stick the link in. It's a very good history of the bowl gouge, when it was developed, and how it's been upgraded over the years. Because it initially started by, and I always get this wrong, I think it was Peter Child that did the original long and strong back in late 60s, early 70s. Prior to that, when people did bowls, they used scrapers.
Is the long and strong not Stuart Mortimer?
I don't think it was. I'll double check on the thing, because I'll put the link in, but I'm pretty sure it was, I'm certain it was Peter Child. But I'll double check on that one, Dan.
I know Stuart Mortimer had one similar, but I imagine his was more single gouge than bowl gouge.
Because the original bowl gouges still had short handles, like woodworking chisels.
Right, really? Yeah.
The Brad R says, I love listening. I love it when Wayne
That's quite
explains.
So, what was that, Scott?
Brad says, I love it when Wayne explains things because I feel like I'm in a masterclass on woodturning.
Thanks, Brad.
And Anthony says, great advice. Thanks, Wayne.
Whoops, that was a bit heavy. There we go. Right, now what I'll do a little bit of hand sanding just on the beads. And I'm just going in with some 240 here, just to clean that up a little bit. It'll not need very much, because you do get a very, very clean cut from the beading tool.
And what do you do with that one? Do you have to buy a new handle, or do you just replace the tips on one of your existing Easywood tools?
The beading tools will fit on the, I think they fit on the mini ones and they fit on the medium size ones. So if you've already got the medium size, I think that'll be the square cutter. If you've already got the medium size square cutter, the beading tools will fit on that.
80 days. I've only got the, I think they're the micro ones and the number one hollower. Rob's got a question.
I don't know if they fit on the micro ones or not, to tell you the truth.
What I need is someone else to pass away and leave me some inheritance, and I can spend it on Eastwood like I did. That's how I've got the number one hollower. Cheers, Nan.
Right, does somebody have a question?
Yeah. Robert Klingsboy says, Wayne, how's your ring? Is this wet weather affecting it at all? Just asking for a friend.
Oh man, that was for Wednesday night. I've got to admit that cheered me up no end. Wednesday night did, it really did. YouTube didn't think it was very funny, but
I added it to my watch later list last night. Went to bed, put it on, and then yeah, I must have gone to sleep pretty quick. Douglas is saying his week's not complete without a masterclass from Wayne. Fred
cheers,
said
Douglas.
Fred said Wendy was fantastic.
Yeah. Like I said on Wednesday, I think it's about 2 years since I last did a video like that. I think it's going to be another 2 years before I do another one.
No, you're getting lots of really good comments, Wayne. Lucy Bundy Rose said she was laughing all day on Thursday, sorry. Ian Leach said the best evening's entertainment on a Wednesday in years.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks, guys. I don't think Shug's recovered yet. He lost it totally.
Was Shug
Right,
drinking?
so I'm just burnishing this now. I forgot to do this to the outside, but I'm just burnishing this with a piece of grey web racks, which comes in at around about 1,000 grit, I think it is. And then it's just going to get some sand and sealer. Oh, wrong way around. There you are. And what I do,
Look at that, what's that?
Beautiful,
what I do with the sand and sealer, I wipe off all of the excess, because the sand and sealer is basically sitting on the top. I wipe off all of the excess, and if I was going to use the likes of Yorkshire grit or other abrasive paste, which I'm not doing tonight, I wouldn't bother knocking it back because there's no need. If you are going to use an abrasive paste when you're using the spray-on sand and sealer, if you get the excess wiped off and then you use the abrasive paste, that actually knocks back the sand and sealer. I think I've got a bit there that's going to catch. And what I'll do, if it does catch, I'll try and explain how you get rid of the catch. I don't know if that's actually showing up. You can actually see around about here where I maybe put a little bit too much on. But what we'll do is knock it back. Get into these bits on the bead as well.
And he's that small, I didn't see him creep in. AGK's in the chat. Sorry, Andy, I didn't see you.
Hi, Andrew.
He says, Wednesday night was a blast. I couldn't stop crying with laughter. And Ward Wilson's popped in.
Right, now I have got some patches there which I'm not actually very happy about. Some of the sand and seal is being left. So what I am going to do is use some grit.
I don't know if I can read this out on YouTube. So Andy says, at the end of live on Wednesday, Lucy had no knickers left in her drawer. She had wet herself laughing so much. And I'm going to say this wrong. Carsten? Is that right? Let's join the chat. Carsten.
Yeah. Again, if you are using any of the abrasive pastes, get it rubbed in with the lathe stationary. Turn the lathe down. People do this at various speeds when they turn the lathe down. I usually start at around about 250. Use the piece of paper that you applied the grit with and just get it rubbed in there. And what happens is, because the grit is made up of beeswax, mineral oil, oh come on Wayne, some lemon oil as well, and the abrasive. And a lot of people use rotten stone as the abrasive. And what happens is, as you're actually rubbing it in, and I always stand to 240 when I'm doing this, I don't tend to go higher than 240, but as you're rubbing it in, the abrasive actually breaks down. So by the end of finishing this process, it goes up to around about 1,000 grit. So I'm going to get a clean piece of paper now, turn the speed up a bit, and carry on working it in. And you can tell when it's done its job when you get a clean piece of paper after wiping it across the piece.
Robert Klingspor has just said that every time you use an abrasive paste, an abrasive rep dies. But think about your lungs before theirs, so don't worry.
Yes, exactly. That's the whole point in using an abrasive paste, is that once you start sanding to the finer grits, the 400, 600, 800, thousands and things like that, it produces very, very fine dust. Whereas when you use an abrasive paste, basically all of that dust gets captured on the paper. Now that's coming away relatively clean. I think I might be picking up some actual stain from the wood, but that's come away relatively clean, so I'm happy with that. And now we'll put a finish on there, and the finish I'm going to use, sorry Dan?
No, carry on, I'll say in a minute.
No, you're fine, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, from a teaching perspective now, we'll only use abrasive paste in the classroom, so we only have to stand up to 240. So
all right, okay. No, I've always, whenever I've used abrasive paste, I've always sanded to 240. There's no need to go any higher, really. And if you're using a very, very tight grained wood and you want to get an even finer surface on it, if you like, if you use the microfine will take it up to just over 2,000 grit, which is why it's especially good. In fact, Glyn did develop it for use on resins. But a lot of people that use resins actually wet sand anyway, so that keeps the dust down as well. They use the small micro mesh. What are they called?
Pads, yeah, micro mesh pads. Yeah.
Yeah, these small pads, which are basically wet and dry, so you can use them.
I used to use those a lot on pens, but to be fair, as soon as the finer version came out, I get just as good a result with that.
Right, yeah, I don't use them on acrylics anymore. If I turn acrylic pens, I don't use the micro mesh pads anymore. It's just grit and then super.
Yeah.
I must get this buffing pad cleaned.
Oh, we've been rattling some pens out in the shop today, this morning. I did my sheep and Katie did about 8 pens.
Excellent.
We're going to do a Christmas
to
fair.
Tell you the truth, I think I've still got all the pen kits I bought off you at Maker Central last year. That's how often
Well,
I
we've got
turn
up in
pens
price
now.
now.
Oh, that looks a bit better. There we go. How are we doing on time? Because that's me done.
We are at 5 to 9.
Oh, excellent, excellent. That's what I like to do.
That's right. Wayne, you got time for a sheep?
I've never turned a sheep.
Yeah, do a sheep. Let's do a sheep. Well, I can talk you through
Right.
it.
Oh, wrong camera.
Hashtag sheep week.
So there's the bottom.
Yeah.
Nice piece of walnut, and there's the inside. Right.
Nice.
What I'll do, I will just quickly. I'll answer that when I go back in
Trying
the
to find
house.
enough material to do a sheep.
I'm going into my messages with Rue because I did send her that link.
So you're getting lots of nice comments. Nice bowl. Looks gorgeous.
Thanks,
Lovely
guys.
bowl. Very nice, Wayne.
Someone's asking Rob if it hurt.
Tez says there's nothing like doing something new on the lathe. What could go wrong?
That's the thing I'm looking for. Grand. Copy that. Come back into here. Bring the YouTube chat up. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself.
That's normal for you,
Alright.
though, Wayne, isn't it?
Do you do that a lot, or?
He just wants he just wants some expert advice. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's really annoying when I get the wrong answers though. Let's bring the guys back in. My God, Dan, your hair's going mad.
I know, I was thinking that. I was debating whether I should tie it up or not, but it's,
Need
I
some
need to
head and
get it
shoulders.
cut. I know, it's very well conditioned now, I think I find.
Yeah, so that
Already covered it all,
link I've
so.
put in, it does go to a website which has got that article in there about bowl gouges and the development from the traditional grind through to the Irish grind, through to the different types of steel that can be used now.
Alright.
Oh, Rob, so Wayne, what date, Harrogate, are we going to make a video of Rob makes a mess of a bowl? I think we'll have to do that on the Friday because it's the busiest day.
I'm hoping they don't make us go in every day that week, and then I might be able to get up to Harrogate on. Well, I'm on placement, so I have to do 37.5 hours. So if I can do 3 long days, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then that gives me Thursday to get up to Harrogate, ready for Friday. But
well, that's true.
Yeah, you've got to be there for the Friday night, really.
It'd be nice just to get up and chill.
Also, I think at some point I am going to be doing a demo on Taylor's Murfield on Dan's lathe sometime over the weekend. It might be 1, might be 2. I'm not too sure yet.
Yeah, we need to look at that.
I wasn't actually planning on bringing any tools down. It looks like I'm going to have to. Which means Drilly might be coming as well. Right then.
What, Drilly's going on and out,
thanks, Wayne. Well, to tell you the truth, I'm not too. There may well, in the near future, be a new Drilly.
You're gonna mount the old one in some sort of glass frame.
No,
I was thinking about auctioning it off, to tell you the truth.
No, I'm going to start like this Just Stop Oil. I'm going to start a new one, Save Drilly.
What, like free Deirdre Rashid? Like going back 20 years on Coronation Street.
I've got my t-shirt press. I've got my cry cuts. That's it. I'll say,
It
Hashtag
might be.
so
It might
early.
be a Bosch. It might be a Bosch drill that comes next.
You need to start taking it around and having photographs taken at certain landmarks, like go to Paris and have a photograph of it by Eiffel
Selfies
Tower.
with drilly.
If someone's
You
going
know,
somewhere nice, they can take it on holiday with them.
you know where you've got to take it, Wayne? You've got to take it to Stonehenge.
Oh god.
You know, like kids bring the classroom teddy home for summer holidays and take it on holiday with them. Go like that.
Well, who
Yeah.
was it? It was
Send it on a world tour.
oh, I'm forgetting his bloody name now. But sent a I can't remember if it was a bear or a rabbit or something off on the trip. I don't know if it was to raise money, but it got ages away. That did. Cheers, Alan.
Like years ago, when we started doing like pen blanks and stuff, there was a bit of a phase of people buying bamboo chopping boards and cutting them up and turning them
Oh yeah.
as pen blanks.
Mm.
We stuck googly eyes on one, and that went around our customers for probably 3 years, and then it got returned to me by someone at not last Harrogate, but the one before. Someone actually brought it back to me, and I've still got it somewhere.
All right.
So
Very good.
send it on
I
a tour.
used to get the olive chopping boards from the likes of TK
Yeah.
Maxx.
Yeah, chop them up.
Yeah.
But
Get
you
sent-
could
get it
actually
sent on
buy,
a tour.
you could actually buy seconds on eBay. Seconds olive chopping boards, absolutely dirt cheap. And then once
Yeah.
I put the link out, you couldn't get them anymore.
Robert Klingspor's just given me an idea. You're going to be getting another mug, Wayne.
All right, here we go. Hashtag Drilly Lives Matter.
Drilling all over the world.
Jennifer, Jennifer's here. Hang on. Right, Jennifer, the box and the finial that I'm going to do on Wednesday. Hang on, I'll put me back on the screen again. The finial is going to be made out of, it's either Mallee burr or red gum burr, one of the two. It might even be a salmon burr, I'm not too sure yet. But the box is either going to be out of a piece of spalted beech or a piece of burr elm. The only thing wrong with the burr elm is all these wormy bits that I'm not too enamoured with, but it has got some nice burr in there. So I'll let you have a think about that, Jennifer, and you can let me know at the beginning of Wednesday night which one to do. Right.
Rob says he swears you make these wood names up.
I've not heard of salmon burr before.
Yeah, no, there is one. It used to be about a lot in the 80s and 90s.
All right. You could be telling us anything right now.
Is
And
that what
everyone's
you
just laughing.
used to roll the stones to Stonehenge? It's just a bit you got left over.
The bit that got left over. Aye, that's right. All these funnily named ones, Rob, all Australian burrs. They all come from the eucalyptus family. They basically grow in very, very dry areas over in Australia, and they're totally different to the eucalyptus we get across here. And on that note, I think I'm going to press the button. Thanks everybody for coming in. Thanks guys for coming in and earworming. Very much appreciated.
No problem.
It's such short notice. And I will catch everyone on Wednesday. And I am now going to hit the button, and I've hit the button.